Okay, please pay attention. We are going to discuss these questions related to isomerism and structures. The first thing is you have to. This was an old pattern in which they used to ask the MCQs. They were confirmed number of MCQs used to come like 10 MCQs the last, but nowadays they have replaced it. One and odd MCQ they ask you in this pattern. Okay, so that's why I thought we should include this pattern as well. So in this case, you just have to follow this table and assign the value A, B, C, D, right? Based on this. Okay, anyways, which labeled carbon are the chiral atoms? So in this question, he's giving you a lot of explanation. The diagram, skeletal formula is terpentin 4-ol. आपको इसका isomers chiral carbon बताने हैं. Number 2 cannot be chiral. Why? It is a double bond. Number 3 cannot be chiral. Why? Because there are two CH3s attached with it. Here it is CH3 and here CH3. Only one is the chiral. Okay? And when one is only option, then you have to look at the table and it's D only. Okay? Then if you look at the structural formula of these two compounds, you can clearly see that one of them is carboxylic acid and the other one is ester. And if I count the number of carbons and the molecular formula, they are the same. So when you have same molecular formula but the different structures on the basis of functional group, we call it structural isomerism or functional group isomerism. Structural isomers of each other, yes, they are. The empirical formula of both these compound is C3H6O. How to calculate the empirical formula? I always tell you, you just count the total number of carbons, hydrogen, oxygen, you get the molecular formula. In this case, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So C6, H3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, and then O2. And then simplify. So simplified will give you divided by 2, C3, H6O. And both of these have the same, but both of these are carboxylic acid. No, one of them is carboxylic and the one is ester. So 1 and 2 statements are correct. I can see if 1 and 2 statements are correct, the answer is B. Compound Q is obtained by adding water across the double bond in compound P. Which statement about the two compounds are correct? Which statement about these two compounds are correct? Cis trans isomerism, no. When there is only alkane or alkene or a hydrocarbon with a double bond and ring, their trans cannot sustain a lot of pressure. So only when halogen or OH at least is replaced, then double bond with the ring could have cis trans isomerism. Okay, so no cis trans isomerism in P. Okay, Q contains how many chiral carbons? How many chiral carbons in Q? Is this carbon chiral? जिसके साथ OH है? Just 1 minute. And what about this? Yes. So 2 chiral carbons in this. Yes. So Q is a tertiary alcohol. How I get to know that's a tertiary alcohol? No hydrogen should be there and 3 carbons should be attached. And yes, I can see there is a 1 bond on this side, 1 bond on this side, 1 on this side, or 1 जिससे OH खुद attached है. So there is no hydrogen actually, right? So hence it is a tertiary alcohol. When 2 and 3 are correct, we have to pick answer C. What is the correct name of the molecule with the skeletal formula this? So if you look at this, you have to name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this? 5 carbon alkane is known as what? Pentan, but now it's a pentan 2-ol because it's an alcohol. So it's a pentan 2-ol, and there are 3 methyl groups attached at carbon number 3. So what is this? 3,3 dimethyl pentan 2-ol. Now this is I've already solved it. If I explain it to you, pay attention. This is a compound. What I did when I solved it, I'm just going to tell you the thought process. I have to select the longest chain, 9 carbon here. And then I named this compound. So with the 9 carbon, it's no name. And how many alkyl groups? 2, 3, 5, 7, and 8. Right? So pentamethyl. Right? So that also gave me a total number of carbon, which is 9 plus 5 is 14. And then that gave me the name. And then I gave name to all of these one by one. And you see, A ka naam bhi yahi bana. nonane with the 5 methyl carbon. C का नाम भी यही बना. So that then I got to know that A and C are A and D are the same. And B को जब मैंने closely देखा तो it does not contain even same number of carbons. So the molecular formula was not the same. So it can't be isomer until the molecular formula is not the same. So the option left was C, which has the same number of carbon and hydrogen, but the different structure. So that's why answer is C, that has an isomer. Okay. Number 6. Which compound shows the isomerism? Optical isomerism. Which compound shows optical? For optical isomerism, we know that the compound should have chiral carbon. So at first, I started drawing them one by one. 2-chloropropane, I quickly draw it. So 2-chloropropane. So I can see there are 2 CH3s on the side. So there is no chiral carbon? No. 1,2-dichloropropane. So 1 pe Cl, 2 pe Cl, and then I fill the hydrogens up. So I hope I have found the chiral carbon. Here is the chiral carbon, right? So when there is a chiral carbon, it can have the phenomena of optical isomerism. So if it would have not been answered, then I'll go to the next and then keep drawing the structure and looking for the chiral carbon. Optical isomers देखने का यही एक तरीका है. There's no other way. That is a repeat again. Okay, which compound has molecular formula C6H10O? I just told you that molecular formula ढूंढने का एक ही तरीका है. You just count the total number of carbon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C6. Every carbon is having like इसके पास 3 है, इसके पास 1 है, 2, 2, and 2 hydrogens. So count the hydrogens. 3, 4, 6, 8, 10. C6H10 and O, right? So C6H10O is the molecular formula for A. Okay. Fructose is a sugar with more than 1 chiral centers. The fructose molecule is shown with X, Y, and Z, indicating 3 carbon atoms. Which carbon atoms are the chiral centers? Z to nahi ho sakta. Why Z is not chiral? There are 2 hydrogens attached. Why? What about Y? What about X? Because all 4 different groups are attached, so there's no point of going into the detail. We have got the idea. So X and Y kiska answer hoga? B. Which pair of alcohols are the isomers of each other? To be an isomer, they should have same molecular formula, but the different structures. So as soon as I look at this A, butanol means it's a C4H10O. Molecular formula? But 2,2-dimethyl propanol. 5. Propanol means 5 carbon, 3 carbon in the chain. And 2 alkyl group means total 5 carbon. So they have a different molecular formula, so they can't be this. Butane-2-ol and 2-methyl propane-2-ol. I think this could be, because in dono ka molecular formula same aata hai. So butane-2-ol is this. Yes, C4H10O. And 2-methyl propane-2-ol. This is propane-2-ol. And this is 2-methyl. Got it? So yeah, these two have different structures but the same. Dono ka molecular formula is the C4H10O, right? So they are the isomers of each other. Next. Which compound shows geometric or cis-trans isomerism? You remember the conditions for the cis-trans? They should have carbon-carbon, double bond, and then they should have 2 different groups attached. Number 1 को अगर आप draw करें, there is a carbon-carbon double bond, और first carbon के साथ क्या-क्या attach है? CH3 and H. और दूसरे के साथ क्या attach है? 3 and C2H5. Yes, they will have the cis-trans because there is a double bond and there are 2 different groups attached. इसी तरह 2 पे आ जाएं. 2 में there is a double bond, H and CH3, H and CH2, CH2 and CH3. Do they have different? Yes, so it also has cis-trans isomerism. What about the last one? Again, double bond है, एक H है, एक C2H5 है. दूसरे में भी एक H है और एक C2H5 है. तो क्या है? Double bond है. So all 3 have Same. Okay. Next. All three when the answer is A. Okay. Next. Okay, you have to count the how many sigma bonds there. Sigma bonds, you understand the single bond, right? So if I look at CH2, mean two hydrogens, single bond, then there is a double, but one of them is sigma. Then there is H. Then there are two CH2s. And then there is double bond. One is sigma, then O, and then C, H, two sigma, one sigma. There's a double bond, one sigma. Okay, now let's count the number of carbons. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Well, relax. Okay. That was my mistake. Okay. So, yes, the number is 18. All right. Okay, the next is Finkelstein reaction occurs when NaI in propanone reacts with chloroalkane or bromoalkane. The halogen is directly replaced by iodine. The reaction only works for the primary haloalkanes. Which haloalkane produces X? So it was actually the statements tell you some complexities involved, but actually there was no complexity. It was actually asking to compare the skeletal formula with the structural formula and just replace iodine and look at the primary thing. That was the only requirement here. So usko follow करें तो it's option D only, right? कि you just follow कि इसका अगर आप skeletal formula बनाएंगे for this D तो वो ही बनेगा जो उसका बन रहा है एंड द ओनली डिफरेंस विल बी क्लोरीन की जगह आयोडीन आ जाएगा और वो प्राइमरी भी होगा ऑलराइट सो ये मैंने इसलिए ये दोनों हो सकते थे ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता था बिकॉज वो प्राइमरी नहीं है ठीक है और फिर जो है ना ये ड्रॉ द स्केलेटल फार्मूला फॉर ए एंड बी दे वर नॉट फिक्सिंग विद द एक्स दैट्स व्हाई आई जस्ट टुक देम अवे so statement was actually trying to confuse you otherwise it was a straightforward concept of turning a structure into skeletal okay. The diagram shows the skeletal formula for the compound Y. What is the empirical formula? वही तरीका है you have to determine the molecular formula and then उसको simplify कर देना जैसे इसमें देखें ये कार्बन है ये कार्बन है ये कार्बन है ये कार्बन है तो कार्बन कितने हो गए 4 हाइड्रोजन कितने हो गए 1 2 3 and 4 और ऑक्सीजन भी कितने हो गए 4 so CHOA is the empirical formula फिर उसको simplify कर दें तो empirical आ जाता है right okay here you go अब वो कह रहे थी कि there are 7 structural isomers with a molecular formula C5H10O that are carbonyl compounds 4 of these are aldehydes 4 aldehydes the aldehydes A straight chain B and C D are the branched B is only one with a 4 isomer with a chiral center and it exists as a pair of optical isomers. Aldehyde C has 2 methyl groups attached in the structure, but D has 3 methyl groups. Give the structure of each of the 4 isomers, right? Right? So if you draw them, what I always tell you to do, कि आप इसको, you should draw all the aldehydes. आप सारे aldehydes को draw कर लें. I made you learn कि आप एल्डिहाइड को ड्रॉ कर लें फिर जो जो जिसकी फिक्स होता जाएगा वो हम वहां लगाते जाएंगे मिसाल के तौर पे the thought process is if somebody asks me for this question so I'm not going to go into this detail which is going to confuse me first I'm going to draw all the structural isomers for C5H10O which I have learned how to do that then फिर वहां से मैं उठाता जाऊंगा और वो इसकी एक्सप्लेनेशन में फिट करता जाऊंगा फॉर एग्जांपल मैंने क्विकली क्या किया मैंने क्विकली इसके 5 आइसोमर ड्रॉ कर लिए 1 2 3 4 5 CHO एक ये हो गया I learned I taught you how to do this then चेन को शॉर्टर करो 1 2 3 4 ये हो गया फिर चेन को और शॉर्टर करो स्पेस नहीं है तो मैं इधर बना देता हूं with 2 carbons ये चेन आइसोमर्स हो गए and you know position isomers as far as the position of functional group is there वो नहीं बनते aldehyde हाँ, ब्रांच की पोजीशन चेंज कर सकते हैं, और वो भी इधर तो नहीं होगा, इधर नहीं होगा, इधर हो सकता है। ये 2 मिथाइल ब्यूटेनल है ना, मैं इसको क्या कर दूं, 3 मिथाइल ब्यूटेनल। Okay. Now, if I fill up the hydrogens, which I don't need, but I'm doing it for you, CH3, CH3, CH, CH2. Here it is CH3, CH2, CH3, right? Similarly, CH3, CH3, and then CH3. Okay, now whichever it fits your description, उसको मुझे बताते जाएं. A is a straight chain. Yes, so A is the one, CH3, CH2, CH2. मैं जरा जल्दी हो जाएगी, स्केलेटल ड्रॉ कर लेता हूँ. 1 2 3 4 5. B कौन सा है? Which is B? B, C, D are branched. B is the only one of the 4 isomers with the chiral center. अब किस में chiral center है? Chiral center मेरा ख्याल है ये वाला है ना? This one. बाकी तो किसी में नहीं है. So I'm going to draw it here. So 1 2 3 4. ये हो गया और ये हो गया. B ये हो गया. Okay, next. What about sorry, कौन सा है chiral center? No, उसमें तो कोई कार्बन chiral center नहीं. ये 2 CH3s अटैच हैं उसके साथ. Okay. नेक्स्ट कह रहा है C के बारे में, उसने कहा ओनली 2 मिथाइल ग्रुप. D has 3 मिथाइल ग्रुप. 3 मिथाइल ग्रुप और इन दिस, वो ऊपर देखिए, 3 मिथाइल ग्रुप इन दिस और 2 मिथाइल ग्रुप्स आर इन दैट. ओके, सो वो आगे दोनों. सो D में कितने हैं? 3 मिथाइल ग्रुप्स हैं, तो D इज लाइक दिस. ये D हो गया और बच गया यही, दिस इज द C. ओके, सो 1 2 3 4 and then this is alkyl group. Okay, या कर सकते हैं, no restriction. Okay, आपकी अपनी मर्जी है, you can draw anyone. Structures का है ना, structures आप कोई भी draw कर सकते हैं. When he asks you to draw the structural formula, displayed formula or skeletal, then you have a restriction. दो है ना, ये वाला भी मिथाइल है और ये वाला भी मिथाइल है. Okay. Next, draw 3-dimensional structure of 2 optical isomers of B. Optical isomers कैसे draw होते हैं हम आपको सिखाया हुआ है, ये मैंने खुद पहले से draw किया हुआ है. There is a carbon with the ये going behind the plane or inside. This is the one coming out of the plane, and then you have to invert it. Inversion में आपको ये hydrogen basically इस तरफ लेके जाना होता है, the dashed line, and then it's a non-superimposable mirror images. So you have to tell them, examiner, वो खुद से नहीं assume कर सकते कि अच्छा ये इधर और इधर वाला ऑप्टिकल आइसोमर्स हैं. देखो लेबल करना होगा, दे आर ऑप्टिकल आइसोमर्स और एनेंटियोमर्स, दिस वन एंड दिस वन, देन दे अंडरस्टैंड. ओके जी, डजंट मेक डिफरेंस जी, लेबल नहीं किया हुआ. The question is about the molecules with the molecular formula C4H8. Give the positional isomers of C4H8. Positional isomers कौन से होते हैं? जिसमें position of double bond change होता है या functional group. तो एक बना देते हैं butyne और दूसरा कौन सा होगा? Butyne. Okay. एक butyne है और एक butyne है. Give the structures and pair of chain isomers with C4H8 that do not exhibit the stereoisomerism. Chain isomers or with the formula C4H8 that do not exhibit the stereoisomerism. Chain isomer banana है इसका. 1 2. Anyone? Chain isomers. Chain isomers में number of carbon कम करने हैं, तो एक ये हो गया. इसमें अगर आपने ये बना दिया तो सही है, बट अगर आप इसने ये बना दिया, इफ यू मेक ब्यूटीन, व्हाई इट वुड बी रॉन्ग? क्योंकि इसमें स्टीरियो आइसोमेरिज्म यानी सिस ट्रांस आ जाता. सो उसने कहा है चेन आइसोमर्स बनाने हैं, बट कीप इन माइंड के वन ऑफ बोथ ऑफ द चेन आइसोमर्स should not have cis trans isomerism. Okay, इसमें क्यों नहीं होगा? क्योंकि दो CH3s अटैच हैं या दो हाइड्रोजन अटैच हैं इन 2-methyl propene. और दूसरे में क्यों नहीं होगा? Because of the वो 2 की वजह, 1 की वजह से. If I would have drawn 2 तो फिर ये बन सकता था. Okay, next. What is next? Give the structures the name of stereoisomers with C4. Full name of pair of stereoisomers. C4H8 stereoisomers में दोनों होते हैं ना, optical और chiral. But we know that C4H8 is an alkene, and alkenes only show the stereoisomer. What kind of stereoisomerism? Cis and trans. So in this case, you have to draw this cis and trans isomer. Okay? Can you draw it? Please draw it. Pay attention. So if you have to draw cis isomer, I'm going to draw butene, bacho. This is CH3, this is H, this is CH3, and this is H. This is cis isomer. And then keeping first one the same and switching the other one. So this is cis butene, this is trans butene. You have to write full name. Cis butene and trans butene. Don't write cis and trans only. The structure of the molecule A and formula is C4H8 is shown. Draw the functional group isomer for A. A is a cyclobutane. So functional group isomer of cycloalkane exists with alkene. So you can draw any alkene. 1, 2, 3, 4, butanene or butene or 2-methyl propene. Any answer is the right answer. Next, this question about the molecules. This question is about. Come and find the empty copy. Question is about the molecule with the molecular formula C4H8O2. Give the structural formula of the pair of chain isomers. बल्कि यहाँ ये उठाओ, आप इनको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करो. आपको ये काम देना और वहाँ में पड़ी है. Okay, but you distribute it. Go to everyone's desk and distribute it. Okay, give the structural formula of the pair of chain isomers with the formula C4H8O2 that are carboxylic acids. Excuse me, how to draw the chain isomers of carboxylic acids? You have to put all 4 carbon in one chain. Excuse me, you have to put all 4 carbon in one chain. That will be named as butanoic acid. And in order to make a chain isomer, क्या करना होगा? Number of carbon in the chain we have to reduce. तो वो क्या हो जाएगा? One is butanoic acid. And what about the other one? 2-methyl propanoic acid. So I put 1 carbon out of the chain and put it in the branch. Give the structural formula a pair of position isomers that are esters. We have to draw the position isomer of the esters where we have to change the position of functional group. Like if you have C double bond O here at carbon number 1 and put all 3 carbon in one side, and then either you can take this carbon away and you can draw it like this. So this is a position isomer. Okay, you see I've drawn it here, all 4 carbon in one side, and then I've drawn it like this. Is it clear? Right? So these are the different types of questions which were related to isomerism, right? So if I continue with this from another sheet. Look at the question number 21, please. Okay, so no, question 22. This is a compound X. What is name of this compound? No, this is another sheet. Question 22, please. Can anyone please name question 22? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I tell you one thing, please pay attention. Pay attention, everyone. When you have this OH functional group, what do you call it? Is it an alcohol? And how we name it? We name it as ol. Propan, for example, in this case, propan. But if you know when the OH functional group comes with another functional group, like if it comes with the double bond if it comes with the carboxylic acid, there is a possibility that there are two functional groups present on one compound. Then you don't say it all. Then we call it hydroxy. Okay? So it's about the priority. Right? So COOH gets the priority. Its name remains the same, and we call it again oic acid. Right? So if we name this compound, its name will be what? 1, 2, 3 carbon carboxylic acid is known as propanoic acid. And there is carbon number 2 carrying OH. So what will be the name? 2-hydroxy propanoic acid. Okay? Similarly, this is, yes, I have already said. It's organic 2020. Okay. On the other hand, now listen. Similarly, not on the other hand, similarly, look at this. This functional group contains this compound contains two functional groups. Which one? Double bond and OH. So now again the alkene remains the ene, but the OH will become hydroxy. Okay. So now, as I always tell you, the zigzag manner we use to write the skeletal formula, naturally it is the trans isomer. Naturally it is the trans isomer. So it is a trans. That is the point. And if I look at the numbering, which hydroxy is present? 2-hydroxy hex 3-ene. Right? So what is the name of this compound? And is it a cis or trans? It's a trans. So trans 2-hydroxy hex 3-ene. And please mind this, that cis and trans are always separated with the dash. राइट वो अभी भी जो मैंने आपको बताया था वो लिखना है cis, थैंक यू बेटा, cis but 2-ene. You have to write like this: trans but 2-ene. Okay, please draw this and write the name of this. Right, so it's a part of the notes as well. Okay. I can also share a table which up to our syllabus, which needs you to look at the priority of the functional groups when you have two functional groups attached. Okay, just look at this. Look at this. If you have carboxylic acid alone, you call it oic acid. And if you have carboxylic acid with some other group, so you call it carboxy. But if you look at the priority order, if you have two functional groups, for example, carboxylic acid and alcohol, Who will get the priority? Yes, so the highest in the priority is the carboxylic acid, right? And then, like this we did, and once we have both of these, carboxylic acid and alcohol, you see, when the alcohol is as a substituent group, we took it as hydroxy, and then carboxylic acid, we took it as oic acid. Okay? Right, so coming back to the same thing. Right, there are three structural isomers with the formula C5H12. Which formula correctly represents these three structural isomers? C5H12. If I start with D, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 2-methylbutane. 1, 2, 3, 4, it's what? 2-methylbutane. So I'm going to cross it out because these two are the same compounds. So you see how I figure out? I start giving names. If the name comes the same, so I don't have to bother and see closely, does it look same or what is the case? Structure is the same if the name is the same. Okay? For example, look at this. ये तो हो गया pentane. ये क्या हो गया? 2-methyl butane. What is this? Butane. For the structural isomers, they should be different in structures. What about the next? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what? Pentane. What is this? 2-methylbutane. And what is this? Excuse me, 2-methylbutane. So what is left? Got it? So you just have to name it like this. How many chiral carbons in this compound? You just have to tell me the chiral carbons. No, okay. I think we have done this, so let's go through that way. A compound Y is treated with excess of hydrogen gas. You know when it is treated with hydrogen gas, what happens? We did this. Hydrogen gas with a nickel catalyst, what is happening? Hydrogenation. So all the double bonds are gone. They turn into what? Single bond. So I'm going to remove these double bonds. Here is the single bond now. Here is the single bond now. Here is the single bond now. Now you have to see and tell me how many optical isomers are there. Oh, sorry, chiral carbons are there. Is this chiral? 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 Why not this? It's 2 methyl groups attached. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chiral carbon. Answer is this. All right. The same question we did. We have. Okay, this question. In the diagram, R1 and R2 are the different hydrocarbon chains. Which diagram correctly illustrates the optical active trans fat? So I can just summarize the question. He's asking us to find out optically active trans fat. Optically active means should have chiral carbon. Okay, so we have to look A, B, C, D में से किसके पास chiral carbon है. Or trans, I hope you understand what is the meaning of trans. Cis trans वाला trans. Okay, so ये trans है. A. C क्या है? Cis. D क्या है? B trans. And trans mean optically active. Should have a chiral carbon. So which one has the chiral carbon? A and B में से. A में ऊपर भी R1 chain है, नीचे भी R1 chain है. But in B, what about this? R1 and R2. So it says, okay, this is chiral carbon. So it is optically active trans fat, right? We'll continue this. Thank you.